Hello again, this is Brian with another modding tutorial video. In this segment I'm going to show you how to make one of these. As you can see, I brought Gorggles back, my Spec Ops Gorge, and I've loaded him up with custom model, and you can see how he's also using textures currently from other mods. In this mod I have the Blood Gorge from Cynical Mass and the Marine model reskin from the Gunslinger mod, and you can see like the colors different on the goggles there. That's cool. Fits my Blood Gorge pretty good. And this model actually uses the full animation set of the Gorge, and he is completely version independent, so I'll be showing you how to do that. And let's go ahead and get started with that by closing out and switching to screen 1. Perfect. Alright, so first thing we need to do is I'm going to delete all the files that I had made to make this work so that we can start from scratch. I've created a folder here in the model source, aliens, Gorge, and I've added a bunch of files. Go ahead and delete basically everything except for my source max file, because we're going to be creating those again in order to get this working again. And then we'll also delete all of the I've already deleted that. And let's see, alien, we delete that, and we'll delete that. Alright, yeah, everything looks good. So what we're going to do is open up my max file, and in this video we're going to be going through max. We're going to be setting up dummy textures for the material so that it doesn't overwrite anything, and we're going to be setting up the model compile file so that it'll load the animation set and you don't have to load all the animations yourself. And it will we'll also be touching Lua just a little bit, just to create a few files that we need to make sure that the game is using the right model. So I've got my Gorggles folder or file here with physics on. We don't need to see that right now. We'll go and open up the model. So basically what I've done here is I've taken the Gorge model and I've added the helmet from the Spec Ops Marine, the Black Armor Marine, and the packs, and that's pretty much it. I have it here as separate models. I think you need to be doing that to your models as well. Just keep them separate, and all you really need to do to set up this file is just make sure that they are skinned to the appropriate bones. Like this helmet is skinned to the head, so that's really the only bone that it needs is the head, and as long as it's skinned to the head, it will follow the head bone. And the packs I've skinned to each piece, let's see, the hip on the right and the left, so they will also animate with the those bones. And since they've been skinned and everything is visible right now, when I export this, just like I exported the animated prop, it will export, yeah, basically everything that's visible, and it will link them to the bones that they've been skinned to. So I'm going to use my export tool that I talked about last video and just export it like that. And let's just check my folder real quick. You see in my source folder I have a new file for the DAE, and there's actually something new in this latest patch which I'll go ahead and show you now. I'm going to use my launchpad again, and open up the viewer, and this time I'm just going to drag the DAE file into the viewer. And you see that it actually loaded the model. It's got some texture issues going on, but it actually loaded the model straight from the DA file. This is something that Max added to help debug some of the issues with Collada files not working, and we've made some improvements to that, so the support for other versions of Collada should be more available now, so you can actually use other versions of Max, potentially other modeling programs. I don't have any other versions, so I'm just using 3D Studio Max, but if you do come with issues, feel free to email me at brian@unknownworlds, and I can make sure Max gets that. You can even include the file that you've exported, and we'll see if we can fix the exporter for that. Sorry, let's see what we got. Alright, so yeah, getting back on track here, we're exported the model. And then we also want to have the physics exported. So we're just going to hide everything except for the bones, the joints will be unhidden, and the physics will be unhidden. And then I'm going to export that as Gorggles_physics.dae using our exporter again. And now we have that. And just to rewind a little bit, let's go back to let's go to the forum actually. And if you needed, if you wanted to play around with the source files, there is this thread on the modding forum called Modeled and Animation Source Files, and there's a link here. Within this link is this actual Gorge model file. I don't think the Black Armor Marine is actually included in there, but the other Marine is there, so you can use that if you want to do something similar. Okay, so now I've got my physics for the Gorge exported. It's all I really need for Max. So we'll go ahead and close that. I think that's all I need. We'll go back if I need to. And then we need to create a new model compile file. So just like before, new text document, and we want to save it out as Gorggles.modelcompile. Change that type to and save, and delete the text. Well, I'm going to keep that for now because I think I'm going to need to make something else. And then in here we're going to need to load the geometry for the gorge. Geomo. We did this last time. Let's see. Gorggles.dae, and then physics is going to be Gorggles_physics. Wow, .dae. And that should load that correctly. And then what we want to do is, I actually forgot to do this in my practice run, so I'm going to do it now. I'm going to go to the natural selection 2, my shortcut here, which is in the Steam Apps Common Natural Selection 2 directory. I'm going to find the Gorge folder, and I'm going to look for the model file. Actually, that's not going to work, is it? Well, let's just load it into the viewer. Open up the viewer again, and you can just drag a model file into a viewer. And this is what the Gorge currently is, and we're going to be overriding that in a second. We want to look at attach points, and there's actually one attach point for the head, so we're going to add attach point head. You want to make sure the spelling is the same, and this is basically just saying that the bone head is now going to be loaded as an attach point. and that's all that does. And now we need to load the animations, but we don't want to load all of them. I didn't actually include the third-person animations for the Gorge, so you wouldn't be able to do that anyway. But what you could do is load the animation set that is currently on the Gorge. So we're going to do animation underscore model, and then we want to go to, don't quite remember, I think it's just models, alien, gorge dot model. I'm not sure if I'm too far back on that or not, but we'll see. So what this is going to do is it's going to find gorge model, and it's going to load all of the animations on it onto Gorggles. And if I wanted to, I can add additional animations, but I don't really have any other animations I want to add. But that's pretty much it for the model compile file. So let's see if I can demonstrate this. There we go. That's been built into my new Gorge Race folder. And models, alien, Gorggles model. You can see now he has, since basically what's happening is it's loading my mod on top of all of the files currently in the game. So it's, I didn't show you how to set up the texture. I should do that. But yeah, it's just loading my model on top of all of the rest of the game. And where was I at? Just trying to, yeah, let's see the animation set. That's what we want. And as you can see, it's got all the post parameters and all of the animations from the current Gorge. And all I had to do was just add this one line. So that makes it a lot easier and easy to mod with. Alright, so we're gonna set up this texture, because right now it should actually not be loading correctly, but I had already done that in my version, in my warm-up. So let's go ahead and go back here into this, and what we're going to need to do is make sure that the paths are looking at the right location for the textures. So I'm going to open up my material editor here and go back to the geometry, smooth and highlight, and you can see here it's all gray, but it's actually showing the current texture that is loaded, but the texture that's loaded actually isn't even there anymore because I just deleted it. So we need to make that. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to open up Photoshop, and essentially all I need to do is just create a texture. I'm making it 256 by 256, it doesn't matter, all white, it doesn't matter, and I want to save it in my Gorge Race source directory, model source, alien Gorge, and we want to save it as, in this case, gorge.psd, because that is what the name of the texture is that it normally loads. And so what that did is Builder built a new DDS file in my, let's see where I put that, in here, where my built models are, and in my source file I have a new PSD, and this is what I want to link to in my material. So I'm going back to Max, and I'm going to go to my material and load this new file. Even though it's just white, it should have the correct path to the file that we're going to need, because like I said, what's happening is that this file is being loaded on top of everything else in the game. So what it's going to do is well, actually what it would do is right now it would overwrite the Gorge DDS in the game with this blank white one. So the trick would be to just delete the file that gets output from there, and now it will actually have the right path, but it will look in this file, in this folder, and find the Gorge DDS that is currently loaded from the game itself. So that allows mods to be used to change that file, and it doesn't interfere at all with what is actually in the game. So I need to do that for the Gorge thing, and I also need to do it for the marine part. So I guess I didn't delete these files, but there's also a blank white one for the black armor and the black armor face, and those are the files that are needed for this particular model here, for the head and for the packs. So that was what I did to set up the material for Gorge before I exported it. But since I've already done that, it works just fine. Alright, so we'll save that again, and need to make sure that those files, they've been deleted from the output directory, and they're still in the source directory, and that's fine. Alright, so what's the next step? We got the material file, we've got the model compile file. Don't actually need, I don't need a material file, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And just checking over my notes. Alright. So we also, we're actually going to need to do is make a dummy Gorge model compile file. And this, well, I guess I don't need that. I was having problems with it earlier, but I guess I actually don't need that, so we won't bother with that right now. The next thing I need to do is basically get it working in the mod. And this is going to require just a couple Lua files, so I will actually open up Dakota now. And Dakota is here in the Launchpad as well. And I was given a few files from Brian that, because he helped me find out exactly what I need to do to get this working in the game. And basically what we did is created 3 new files, one for the client, one for the server, and one for the prediction. And what that will do in each of these files, first of all, this is Dakota. If you haven't seen it, I don't really use this ever, so there are probably other better tutorials or videos about this from the community. We'll also probably be giving some more information on it hopefully soon. But for example, in this file here, it's been loaded. It's Gorge Race client.lua. All that does is it loads client.lua, and then anywhere where gorge.modelName equals pre-crash is, it changes the model alien Gorge to Gorggles.model. So if you looked at the actual client.lua that is in the game, well, it actually doesn't load that. It's deep down in the Gorge.lua file where it will load this model as it will load it as Gorge.model, obviously. So that's just basically replacing where in Lua it it loads the model. Prediction and server are all listed the same, and close that out. So those are all located in this Lua directory in my output folder, so they will go out with my mod. And the last thing was this game setup XML file. I used Notepad++ to open this, and again, Brian helped me with this. So if, or actually you should compare this to the game setup or the game setup XML file that is currently in the game. So let's see, that's in NS2 game setup. So basically, when you load my mod, it will change the game setup file to oh, I have all these open. I don't need these. It will change the game setup from this one, which is, game name is NS2, descriptions natural selection 2, and client server, and all that is loaded. And then mine will have those files swapped out for the client server, and predict are different. And the name is Race, and description is Gorge Race. And basically, Race is just what shows up when you are looking at it in the map list, and Gorge Race is just something that's the title of the program when you start. Actually, I'll load up the game now. You notice how I load NS2 on the top left here. It says Gorge Race. And that's all it does. So that is all that needed to be done as far as code-wise goes to get that model working in the mod. So since I've added that and that, those 4 files, and I believe everything I need is currently in the Gorge output folder. Let me just double check this model in the viewer. Yep. Then this should work in the game. So let's load up this, and then mods. I still have Blood Gorge and Gunslinger Overhaul loaded. So when I play, oh, I don't need to do it that way. I just got a map underground. Just load the map. And turn cheats on, switch to Gorge, third person. And there we go. There's the Gorge, and he's got the full animation set and works in my mod. Alright, so I'm going to go publish this now and post this video. So not exactly sure what my next video is going to be about, but you can follow more on the Gorge Race forum thread on the NS2 modding forums, and yeah, and just stay tuned for further videos. Thanks. Bye.